sweet paradise. Assalamu alaikum. How y'all brothers doing? It's a new year. It's time to regenerate. You know, make this year better than last year. Even though our year is Muharram, you know, for the Islamic calendar. But we're in America, and this is tradition in America. We born and raised in America, so, you know, this is what we do. We celebrate, you know, and acknowledge the new year. And many of us try to make resolutions. I stopped making resolutions. I just try to you know, just be about it. All that talking about it, you know, we talk about it. You hear everybody make revolutions all the time and don't fulfill them. I'm gonna work out this year. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna lose some weight. Or I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And then what happened? Next year it's the same old thing. So ain't used to making no resolution. Think about it in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And just go ahead and do it. You know. I want to talk about, give you something, you know, to go with. You know, jumuah is basically, you come here to get some spiritual guidance. Maybe you can get a few gems that will help you throughout the week. Maybe it can help you throughout a lifetime. And the khatib he should try to come and consider the audience that he's talking to and the language they speak and the understanding of basically of the people, you know, present. I know my people. You know, we have a few, you know, people that immigrated here. You know, my Muslim brothers that immigrated here. Welcome to America. You know, and we are brothers. You know, Allah says that in the Quran. What I want to talk about is how Islam addresses life issues, especially death. You know, every time we turn on the news, we hear something about somebody dying. Somebody getting killed, mass murder, genocide. We hear it all the time. And, you know, death and murder is one of the second things that's going to be judged other than Salat on the day of Yom Kippur. Allah go first question us in reference to our duties to Him. Then He's going to question us in reference to murder. Muslims, we view death different than other religions. We have an understanding of that's what Allah said in the Quran. I only created jinn and men that they may serve me. I only created death and light to test which of you are best in conduct. We understand that. And we understand that we're here to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this brief probationary period. It's brief. It might seem like a long time, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. But look at all the time that's going to come after that, and we gone, dead and gone. You know, we have to make our mark now, and we got the potential to make our mark. We got it. And we got to make sure we instill that in our children so that they can take on the work that we started. You see? You shouldn't have children, you Muslim, you going to masjid, you going to pray, you praying every day, and you're not trying to get them encouraging words to accept Islam. Because you know, out here now, the TV got the youth. The TV, the rap got the youth. The TV. So what are we talking about? We're talking about how Islam addresses life issues, especially death. It's important for Muslims to become God-centered. Always thinking about what Allah and His Messenger and the current learned intelligentsia currently among us, what they got to say about a different issue or different issues that's prevalent among us. What did I say? I said it's important for Muslims to become God-centered. That's God-conscious, taqwa. Always thinking about what Allah and His Messenger and the current learned intelligentsia currently among us says about certain issues that's facing us. Were we not really equipped and learned, we shouldn't move out on certain issues or address certain issues if we're not ready for that. Ask the learned intelligentsia among us, unless we can go to the Quran and the Sunnah and find it ourselves and trust in Allah that our understanding is sound, and then we move out. You know, death and how it's viewed in Islam, Allah give us a reference in the Quran to have a certain mentality when it comes to death. I want to jump ahead a little bit because this is very important. Allah says in the Quran, Ku inna salati wa nasaki wa mayaya wa mamatilahi rabbil alamin. La tirika lahu wa bidalika umratu wa anna alu al-Muslimin. And in English, it reads, say, truly, listen to this carefully. Say, truly, my prayer is my salat, right? Or my dua, right? And my service is sacrifice. What is that? Whatever you do in the cause of Allah, freely, without getting charged, or whatever you do that you're getting really underpaid for it, right? But you're doing it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're putting your life on the line. You're dedicating your time to do something that's going to be good for not only Muslims and for yourself and your family, but for humanity. But for humanity. So, Allah says, say, truly my prayer and my service is sacrifice. My life and my death are all for Allah, the cherisher of all the worlds. No partner has he. This am I commanded, and I'm the first of those who bow to his will. This right here is the attitude that each and every one of us in this masjid, and every other masjid, and throughout the world should have that mentality. Truly my prayer, my service and sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the cherisher of all the world. No partner has he. This I am commanded. This am I commanded. And I'm the first of those who bow to his will. This is the attitude that a Muslim should have. That his prayer, his service, his sacrifice, his life, and his death is all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he wake up in the morning, all praise is due to Allah who raised me to life after he has caused me to die. And to him is the rising after death. I bear witness there is no God but Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad is a servant, is his messenger. When he go to sleep, oh Allah, I turn my soul to you. I trust my affairs to you. I turn my affairs to you. I trust my soul to you. And I turn to you. Oh, man. I say it every night. I say it every night. Almost every night. You know how sometimes you're on the spot and you forget stuff? You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm talking about for the youths who say it every night. But when we wake up, when we go sleep, we don't take life for granted. Because we here one day and can be gone tomorrow. And we view death different than other people. See, you can have people, right, like get sick, right, non-Muslims who've been rejecting Islam all their life, right, and they get sick, and then they pass away in the hospital or whatever, And then you got people that may say, oh, he in a better place. Oh, she in a place. How you know that? How you know she in a better place? How you know that? Islam teaches us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question every individual in the grave and ask them 3 questions. Everybody know this. I know you do. Ask them 3 questions. Who is your God? What is your religion? And who is your prophet? So how is they? And if they don't pass the test, you know what's going to happen? Torment in the grave. See, because in that state, you in a state as called before the day of judgment, where Allah said, kun fayakun, the day of judgment, and all those things that we read about every time we read the Quran in Ramadan, all those things those the things going to take place. You're going to be so worried. You're not even going to be worried about that person that passed away. You're going to be worried about your own soul. Because you want to be right. I'm telling you, that punishment that's coming is serious when you read the Quran. It's serious. It ain't no joke. Enough to give you goosebumps all over, even on your toes. Moving right ahead. It's always sad. It's a sad time when we lose a loved one. Right? When their loved one passes away. Someone close to us. Someone we respected and admired. A buddy. A partner. A companion. Our mother. Our father. Our granddaddy. Our aunt. Our grandma. Our uncle. Our brother. Our sister. A leader that we respected. That did a lot for us or taught us a lot. It's hard to lose those people. But you know, the Muslim view, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Sure, we come from Allah, and to Allah we shall return. Man, I would love to be here the next 200 years, man. I'm telling you the truth. I want to see what's going to happen in the future. You know? I like to see. But you know what, though? I got to get back down in reality. I ain't going to be here. I don't want to go, though. I don't want to go. But I got to go. When it's time to check out, it's time to check out. I go back to Allah, be judged for the little time I had here. Allah, about 31 places in the Quran. If you go to your Quran, especially if you have Yusuf Ali translation, you'll see that's about 31 places in the Quran that talks about death. And then there's some other verses here and there. I want to go right now, because I want to keep the Quran. Like we were saying, we want to be God-centered people. And everything we do for Allah. And we question, is this right or this right? Would the Prophet do this? You know? This is the yardstick that we go by. And it kills me, and I'm just going to stop for a minute just because this thought came. It's so crazy, man, how we try to play Allah against his messenger. How you going to do that, man? The Prophet even said before he left, I'll leave you 2 things. The Quran and my personal example. That's my sunnah. The preserved teaching sayings and life example of the Prophet. He said, I'll leave you 2 things. If you follow them, you will never go astray. You will never go astray. Is the Prophet lying? No! He's Rahmatul Alameen. He's Alameen, Al-Amin. Al-Mustafa, Al-Amin. The chosen one. The trustworthy. And sometimes what behooves me is when we try to, when it comes down to hadith, of course you got to be careful with hadith, right? Because it's not Quran. But it's a science behind that. You think that every hadith, what we should do? Just take all the hadith and just burn them up? Burn them up? Is you crazy? How we going to follow the sunnah? How you going to learn how to do the air prayer? How you going to learn how to make salat in the details? How you going to learn how to use the bathroom? How you going to learn how to make ghusl? How you going to learn that stuff, man? If you do away with the hadith. Now, certain things, you got to be careful. If you're grounded in the Quran and you're familiar with the Quran and you constantly reading the Quran, then Allah will guide you. Allah said, him who Allah guide, no one can mislead. So if you guide it, don't worry about it. Read the hadith. Read it. Because you need to get familiar with the man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said is the best example for mankind. Best morals, best character. He was disciplined within himself. He was fighting within himself to keep himself in check. Because truly his prayer, his service, his sacrifice, his life and his death was all for Allah. All for Allah. And that's our attitude. That's why when someone passes away, we don't get bent out of shape. We be sad and everything, but we don't go around throwing the chairs in the janazah and all this crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because that would be an insult to, really to ourselves. We don't go around throwing chairs and making all that noise and, crazy stuff like, other religions do. Because they don't have the right understanding that to Allah we came and to Allah we shall return. And it's our job to teach them. Let's go to another verse in the Quran. This is 3. The other verse was 6, 162, 163 for those who taking note. This verse is 3, 156, 158. We want to read a few verses, so we can get this understanding that Allah wants us to have. That is very important for us to have this. All right, 156. It says, "O you believe, be not like the unbelievers who say of their brethren when they are traveling through the earth or engaged in fighting, if they had stayed with us, they would not have died or been slain," that means killed. "This that Allah may make it a cause of sighs and regrets in their hearts," talking about the chumps that said that. See, because we are people. Prophet Muhammad was a person, but he was the best example of mankind. Those chumps were saying that back then. Yeah, it's Allah telling us, be not like, he said, "Oh, you believe, be not like the unbelievers who say of their brethren." Brethren mean brothers. When they are traveling through the earth. You say, put yourself in that situation. You're traveling through the earth or engaged in fighting, right? And then you got some other brothers sitting behind talking about, if they had stayed with us, they would not have died. Or they wouldn't have been killed. Chumps, man. Chumps. "This that Allah may make it a cause of sighs and regrets in their heart," the one that's saying that. "It is Allah that gives life and death. And Allah sees well all that ye do." Moving right ahead. "And if you are slain," that means killed, "or die, in the cause of Allah, forgiveness and mercy from Allah are far better than all they could imagine." So it won't matter how much money, how many houses, how many cars, or whatever they got. It don't matter. They sitting back. They wasn't fighting. When you fought in the cause of Allah, Allah says that forgiveness and mercy are far more better than all that they command. This is our idea. Muslims. We Muslims. This is our thinking. And it says, "And if you die or slain, lo, it is unto Allah. It is unto Allah that ye are brought together." This is the concept for Muslims. This is the concept for Muslims. And Allah says, right? He says in another verse, and I'm gonna take one part of that verse, and 477. He said, "Short is the enjoyment of this world. Short is the enjoyment of this world. The hereafter is best for those who do right." You hear that? This life is short. Don't think because you live 70, 80 years, man, that thing is over, man. You know, man, I'm telling you, man, 10 years can go by just like that, man. You know, I'm 61 years old, you know? And, man, 70 is creeping up on me, man. Before I know it, I'll be 70. I'm trying to get in shape because I don't want to be walking around like this, you know? Hey, how y'all doing? You know, a lot of times, prophet said we got to work out when we're young so when we get old, right? We don't have to be, walking around like that. Because we get older, you know how the pains creep in on us, right? All them, oh, man, my leg, man, my back, right? That's why we have to work out. And the prophet told us, we supposed to work out a long time. We've been working out and all that. So when we get old, when them pains and stuff like that and all that stuff, we eat right, it'll help us sustain all that there, fight off bacteria and all that type of stuff. You see? So, short is the enjoyment of this world. The hereafter is best for those who do right. Then Allah talks about in another verse, right? In 478. Check this one out. And what are we talking about? We're talking about how Islam addresses life's issue, especially death. It's 478. All right, let me get that right quick. 478. Allah says, listen to this. We believe this with our whole heart and mind because we Muslims. Wherever you are, you hear me? You hear me, brothers and sisters? Wherever you are, death will find you out. Wherever you are, death will find you out. Even if you are in towers built up strong and high. I'm going to stop on that. There's more to that verse, right? But I'm going to stop there because I want you to pay attention to that. It don't matter where you at, man. You could be in the bathroom, taking a shower. You could be in your bed. You could be in a plane. You could be at your job, sitting in the cafeteria. You could be sitting in a pizza parlor. You could be anywhere. You could be riding your car. I know people would die to be on the steering wheel. Allah says, wherever you are, death will find you out, even if you are in towers built up strong and high. We need to think about this here, man, because you don't know how you're going to go. You know you want to go halal. Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladina amanu taqullah haqqa tuqati wa la tumatuna illa wa antum muslimun. Oh, you believe, fear Allah as he should be feared, and die not except in the state of Islam. That is the command. So, if you died robbing somebody, right? Did you die in the state of Islam? If you died making salat, did you die in the state of Islam? Yes. Yes. We want to make sure that final deed we do is the right deed. And Fridays is the best time to really stay away from them sins, man. Because that's the best day. That's the best day. That we are taught that. Muslims, we are taught that Friday is the best day. There's so many things happen on Friday. And they say the day of judgment. Most of the scholars say the day of judgment is going to come. It's going to come on a Friday. So you try to avoid your little weaknesses and on a Friday, you know what I'm saying? You might get, we supposed to cover each other false. We brothers, man. We got to be real. One thing I like about myself, right, is I always in my life try to be genuine. And people tell me this sometimes, they pull me over, Say, nah, like one of my cousins pulled me over one time and said, we was robbed. He said, pull over now. I want to say something to you, right? I said, what you want to talk to you about, man? He said, man, out of all the people in our family, man, you know, everybody in our family, you've never been on no goofy stuff. I appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? There's another brother. One time we was at the spot together, right? He said, "Nah, I'm gonna tell you something, right?" He said, "Ever since I known you, you never changed up on me, man. You always been the same." I appreciate stuff like that, and I always try to keep it real. And we should always try to keep it real. Be yourself, and let your brother be himself and his weak self. Don't judge him. Try to strengthen him. If anything, give him some words of wisdom. Get to know him, and he get to know you. We got rights over one another. If I sneeze, right, you're supposed to, and I said, you hear me say, alhamdulillah, you're supposed to say, yahamukallah. And then, if he said, and the other person would say, yahamukallah, he said, yadikum, and say, oh, man. Yadikum, yallah, lift with balakum. Yeah. Yadikum, lift with, may Allah guide you and give you well-being. And if I invite you to my house, and I could be living in a shack, a one-room shack, right? Take the invitation. That's righteousness. You see? Don't come to my house and say, oh, man, you living in a shack, man. You know, nah, man, don't do that. That's your brother, man. Right now, his means might not be your means. Still your brother. You see? This is Islam. Assalamu alaikum. Let me try to wind down. Let's just give me another verse in this wind down. All right. Okay. I'm going to do it like this here. Just going to push ahead real quick. And, you know, Prophet Muhammad, right? Peace and blessings of Allah be. Muhammad the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon, right? He's the top man. He's the top man in this religion. And Allah instructs us. He says, obey. He said, he who obeys the messenger, obey Allah. Now, this is what I was talking about, I was alluding to earlier, how people try to play the Quran and the Sunnah. You can't do that, man. Stop doing that because you're going to make yourself crazy. You can't, because you can't get away. Allah already, if you say, mashallah, already foreseen that hadith was going to come in because people going to need it. When the Prophet Muhammad was there, a lot of things they didn't understand. He had to break it down to them. He had to explain to them how to do things. And he had all different ways how he taught them. So where Allah says in the Quran, he who obeys the messenger obeys Allah, what does Allah tell him? He putting obedience on the same level. He putting it on the same level. The obey the prophet is on the same level of obeying Allah. He said, because he said it right there. He said, he who obeys the messenger obeys Allah. So me, with common sense, telling me that Allah putting it on the same level. Don't play one against the other. Just learn and ask Allah. And we say in the Quran, oh my Lord, advance me in knowledge. That's all. Oh my Lord, advance me in knowledge. And as we said earlier, it's important for Muslims to become God's sinner. And always think about Allah, his messenger, and the current learned intelligentsia that's currently among us when we have problems. And that verse right there is where Allah says that is 480. And we're going to close out with that. And inshallah, I hope and pray that anything I said that was incorrect, that Allah wiped it out of your mind. And anything that I said that was good, that Allah cause you to remember it and benefit from it. I greet my beloved brothers and sisters in the greetings of peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.